Hi everyone, this is Donny Lowy from Closeout.com. I'd like to give you some tips on selling wholesale corporate attire for women. Tip number one is know your customer. You need to know what kind of work environment they are in. Do they need office dresses? Do they need work suits? Do they need office shoes? Do they need clothing that's a little more casual, or can they wear casual clothing? Or do they need very fancy clothing? Tip number two, know the brands that your customers prefer if they have a brand preference. If they don't have a brand preference, then you can sell them private label or generic label clothing, but you still have to make sure that it fits the style that they want. And if they are looking for brand names, find out which brands that they want and then supply them those brands. Tip number three is the style is very important. The type of office suit that is worn in Nigeria can differ from the type of office suit worn in Kenya, or in New York, or the Bahamas. And especially the weather plays a very big factor, and that's the next tip. Know the weather, and know the climate, and know if the suits are appropriate for that climate. Now, when you sell corporate attire, you also want to make sure that you're selling at a price point that your customers can afford. It can be the best deal. You might have a beautiful Tahari women's suit, but if your customers can't afford it, you're not going to be able to sell it. Now, one way to be able to get the clothing at a very affordable wholesale price so that your customers can afford it is by buying department store overstock and closeouts from the brands. This way you'll be able to get brand name clothing. It might be from a previous season, but if your customers are okay with that style, then you'll be able to get that clothing at a very low wholesale and closeout price. The key, remember, is to know your customer and make sure you have clothing that matches the needs and the desires of your customers. People want to look nice, so you want to have beautiful corporate attire that also will be pleasing to the eye of your customer. Now, while I focus mostly on women, there also is a very big market for male corporate attire. Most of my customers look for female clothing, but there also is a market for male clothing, and you want to also follow the same tips that I gave you in knowing that you're getting the right corporate attire for your male clientele. If you have any questions, please let me know. My website is closeoutexplosion.com.